Welcome everyone to the Oxford Chamber of Commerce 2020 State of the Community Breakfast and Leadership Awards. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We are excited to have you all here. Oops. I am going to ask everyone to please hold all your questions until the end. At that time, we will have a meet and greet with the local officials, and you will be able to ask questions then. Does everybody have their breakfast? Okay. On the table is a list of some of the upcoming networking opportunities. We hope you will join us for our next Mix and Mingle. That's next Thursday, the 27th at 24th Street, 4:30 to 6:30. There'll be light refreshments, and bring your cards to share. If the morning is more your style, come out to a Coffee Connect at Oxford's Tim Hortons, which is Tuesday, March 3rd from 8 to 9 a.m. Bring your business cards and meet many of the local business owners. All of this is on your tables, so you can take a handout with you, and it's also in our weekly newsletter. And as business owners, if you're a chamber member, you can advertise in our weekly newsletter that goes out every Monday morning to over 2,000 people, so it's a great way to get your message out. Now I would like to introduce our board member, Jeff Rowe from JDR Wealth Management, to kick off our morning.
Thanks, Amy. Just to introduce myself, I'm the new president of the Chamber of Commerce. As Amy said, I own JDR Wealth Management. I've been on the board for, this will be my third year overall. Oxford grad, so hometown kid. We're trying to do some new things within the chamber. One of the new things that we started here really at the fourth quarter last year was a networking group of like-minded business professionals where we're trying to help grow and connect each other and refer business and keep it within the Oxford community. So if you are a business owner and you're interested in finding out more about that networking group and how you can help grow your business, contact Amy, contact myself. We can get it there. In addition, I'm heading up our golf outing committee as well this year. So that's on June 19th, save the date. Again, it's going to be at Boulder Point. We have sponsorships available at varying levels to help advertise and be part of the community. If you've done it before, it's going to be a little bit different this year. We're not going to be having any speakers or anything of any sort. We're going to do the 9 holes again, but then we're going to have more of a networking event, mix and mingle, keep it a little bit more fun and joyful for everybody. So, again, thanks for the introduction.
Thank you, Jeff. I just want to give a shout out to this beautiful breakfast that Chef made for us. We appreciate Independence Village being the sponsor of our community breakfast, and I would now like to introduce Teresa Meyer, the business specialist here at Independence Village.
Thanks, Amy, and welcome everybody. I'm glad we got a full house today. Glad everybody was able to come out this morning. It may be a little cold, but we've got some sunshine and we're not, got 3 feet of snow, so it's been a good morning and a good crowd. Again, I do want to, like Amy said, thank Chef Brian in the back there. Raise your hand. He makes us look awesome. And his whole team. He's got a whole team that's helping him out. We provide food for different things in the community, the Oxford Senior Centers and everything. So I've been here for about 10 months. And he's made me look very good, I think, with the community, so I appreciate that. And speaking of being here for 10 months, I'm not an Oxford resident. It was a new territory for me, but I want to thank the community and Amy and the Chamber for the warm welcome and the help to acclimate me to the area. I feel like I'm a member of the community now, so I appreciate it. Also, I want to introduce Susan Taylor. She's our executive director here. Dan is our community specialist. A lot of you may know him. He's not feeling the best, and he's got some tours today, so he's not with us this morning. And let's see, just a little bit about what we offer. We offer independent living and enhanced living, 1 and 2 bedroom apartment style living. Some even have fireplaces and look out at the lake. So if you've never toured our community or been around, make sure to stop by, take a tour, check out what it's all about. We also offer care all the way up to hospice if our residents need it, so they can live their lives out with us here. And we're pet friendly, so they don't need to leave their dogs or their cats at home. We have a big open house next week coming up. It's the 27th, and it's called Havana Nights. There's flyers up there on the table. I strongly encourage any of you or any family members or maybe customers that you have that you think might be interested. It's going to be great food, games, prizes, music, entertainment. So we would love for all of you or anyone you know to come out and join us. You can RSVP at the desk or give us a call. And I think that's it. Anything else?
No.
All right, well, let's get to what you're really here for.
Your
What?
catering. That you do catering.
Oh, yes, yes, we do. So if you really like the food as much as I do and everybody else raves about, you can see his presentation's pretty lovely as well. We do catering, so let us know if you want that or grab one of my cards and we will get you connected up with Chef Brian. Okay? We're gonna make a drawing right now.
Yes.
You wanna do that? Just for a little Made in Michigan basket that I've got up there. They're tired of hearing me, you can say yeah, there you go.
Debbie Mick.
Which one is that? Oh, I'll bring it to you afterwards. We can leave it right there, but thanks for coming this morning. All right. Anything else you need right now?
No, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right, now on to representing the Village of Oxford. Please welcome Joe Medore, Village Manager. Yay!
Hi, Jamie. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see everyone out this morning. It is a nice morning, even though it's chilly out. We wanted to kind of explain a little bit more. We wanted to explain a little bit more and talk a little bit about the. Can you hear me now, Pastor? I need your voice. He's preaching to the choir. All right, so we all know the 24 project is coming up soon. We have a couple weeks left here. The bid's going to be let this weekend, or Friday actually. Hopefully we'll know more in the next 10 days or so who the contractor is going to be. There is a meeting scheduled at March 25th at the high school that MDOT's going to be there. It's going to be an open house event, kind of like they did a year or so ago at the library. It's 4 till 7, I believe. I think the time frame is on that. It will be on our website. And for those who haven't been to the website that we've created at the village, it's at restorem24.com. You can go there, plug in, get some information. There's info about the, yep, there's flyers on the table about that too. You can plug in and get information. You can request to be on our email list where we can send you out information as we get it. We'll try to keep it updated. There's maps on there for the detours and connections, things like that. So it's going to be a big project, as you guys all know. It's been planned for multiple years. I've been here 2 years now, and that's really all we've been talking about in my 2 years here as well. So it's finally here. We know we all had to deal with the utility work about a month or so ago, or maybe 2 months ago. You see that it's gone right now, but that's temporary. They're going to be back March 2nd. Consumers Energy is from East Street North doing some additional work. There isn't as much to do there, so the lane closures shouldn't be as long as the other ones and as disruptive. The project that's happening right there by Oxford Bank, that's an AT&T vault, in-the-ground vault replacement. They'll be working on that throughout this weekend, getting that new vault in. They're going to do splicing all next week. Hopefully that'll be done and out of there by March 3rd is the plan, to get that lane reopened. But again, that's only a short period of time then, before the project will start. And if you haven't heard, the first thing you're going to see is the Drainer Road intersection is going to be reconstructed to handle the detour traffic. So the eastbound Drainer portion of that will be closed off. That'll be the first sign that the project is kicked off. That'll be a little disruption there as people get detoured around. You won't be able to go eastbound on Drainer. There's detours that will be posted from MDOT, get you all around through there, and that should last about 3 weeks before that is wrapped up. They're hoping a little bit less, but maybe 3 to 4 weeks is what they told us. So about through that time frame as well, they're going to be doing the repatching or extra patching on the detour route as it goes down and up Glassby all the way up to Ray Road and back to 24. That road, the detour route, will get some patching, some skip patching before the project is officially detoured there to handle all the extra traffic there. So, and at the end of the project, they're going to resurface the detour route as well. So the roads will be put back together better than they are probably now, is our hope. And it's going to be a long summer. I'm looking forward to seeing the Lions lose on Thanksgiving because then I know the project's about done. So we're looking forward to it. So we're going to talk, Glenn's got some stuff he's going to show a little later about the project. What the village's project is being piggybacked on top of this MDOT project. If you aren't aware, this project was MDOT's idea. It's their plan. They're going to do this project regardless. And we are piggybacking on top of it to do our additional streetscape and enhancements downtown. And it was a good opportunity for us to jump in and do it while the road was tore up. It adds a little bit more work to the project, but again, I think the end result is going to be really nice. Glenn has some slides he's going to show you about the end results. Obviously, you're aware of what's down there now. It's kind of loud, noisy. We're trying to calm traffic and stuff, so that's about it on the utilities. The utility work will be back, like I said, hopefully for only a couple more weeks when they get back and be done. And then get ready for the Drainer Road intersection. And the detours, there's a lot of signage for all the detours that we posted pretty well. And so just follow those, even though we know a lot of people, the locals, will find their own way around. But yep. One side of Drainer Road is going to be closed first. Once that east side intersection of Drainer Road is complete, and then they flip over to the west side of that intersection, that's when the main detour route going up Glassby and stuff will take place. And that's when it becomes southbound only on M24 through the village. So again, once that Drainer Road intersection takes off, you'll know it's about time, a couple more weeks, and then the main project will be starting. So again, reach out to us at the village. RestoreM24.com is on the table there. We can get you information. We have a pretty active social media page, the DDA does. You can get notifications through that as well. So with that, I'm going to hand it on over to, I think, Glenn, you're next? No. No, Amy's next. All right, reach out to us.
Thank you
Yep.
very much. With all that being said, too, the chamber recommends that you start using Pontiac Street and Glassby Street and get used to those routes. And all of the backside streets, sorry, but they're a great way to get around without using M24. And it is doable. You just are going to have to use patience. And Glenn will get more into that as we go along. Next up, I want to introduce Joe Frost, Joe Frost, Oxford Village Council President. No.
Thank you. Let me get my speech out here. Thank you, Amy, and thank you for the invitation to speak again at the community breakfast. It is truly an honor to speak each year. Get my notes in place here. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and residents, business owners, and dear friends. I am honored to say that the state of the village is strong. As the Michigan Department of Transportation begins to embark on the largest construction project in 100 years, I am honored to say that the state of our community is strong. This project will have a transformative effect on our village, our historic downtown, and our community at large. The DDA and village contributions to this project, I'm very proud to say, are being made 100% debt-free. Through the efforts of the DDA, a few years ago, when I was still DDA director, we planted the seed of $110,000, and then each year grew it from there. So the total contribution from the village of Oxford is $500,000, and we were able to leverage a $1.2 million transportation enhancement grant to fund our portion of the project. And again, that's 100% debt-free to the residents of the village of Oxford. I'm quite proud of that fact. Street lamps will line M24 from village line to village line. Sidewalks will be expanded, and our downtown will become more walkable than it already is. After a few years of transition, our talented staff is now strong and focused and moving Oxford forward towards the future. Our village manager, Joe Medor, brings years of municipal experience to our community. Our village clerk, Terry Onica, also brings many years of municipal experience, and she has worked diligently to fix outdated accounting practices and update our code of ordinances and processes. Our DDA executive director has a number of years of experience in economic development and has spearheaded the M24 project for the village of Oxford. Our police chief, Mike Solwald, and his team of officers were able to hire new officers, update your vehicles, and they work ever vigilant to keep our community safe. Our DPW director, Don Brantley, who I don't see him here today, but him and his team keep the village humming. Many things that we take for granted, everything from the streets being cleared before schools even canceled, or the clean water and sewer service that we provide to our residents is all because of Don and his crew. While this summer will be challenging, if we all pitch in and we all move and row in the same direction, we will come through this construction project, we'll come through this year stronger than ever before. I do hear all the time, the village hasn't done, fill in the blank. We've all heard it, but who is the village? The village is all of us. The village is our vibrant DDA board with the energetic leadership of Nicole Ellsworth, who's going to move the DDA into the next few years. Our village is our all-volunteer planning commission, who is ever vigilant to our zoning needs and are responding to developers and moving to build Oxford forward. And so the next time I hear somebody say that village hasn't done, again, fill in the blank, my response will be, well, what have you done for our village? We have numerous volunteer opportunities. We have an all-volunteer village council, all of which work day jobs and raise families in addition to our regular duties. And so with that, I challenge each and every one of us to step forward and to work together to make Oxford strong. This year is unique. Our largest construction project in 100 years, a 2020 election, a national election, which will continue to try to divide and insert divisiveness into our nation and into our community with fake profiles abounding on our social media pages. We need to be ever vigilant, and we need to work together to make Oxford strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. All right, I would like to take a minute before moving on to let you all know about a very important lunch and learn we are having on April 14th. Curtis Insurance will be our presenting auto insurance reform 2020 speakers. And on the table is a flyer for that. And this topic will impact us all. I don't know if people realize how personally, or if you have people driving for your business or you insure employees, you will need to know what the facts are, how liability versus health benefits and such. And this speaker series will go over all of the points of what you'll need to know to make sure that you're properly insured, that your employees are properly insured that are driving for you, or if you insure just your employees at work. This is something that you might want to take a look at. And you can register at oxfordchamber.net. Next up is Glenn Pape, Director of Oxford Downtown Development Authority, who will fill us in on the M24 Restore project. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. Hold your applause for the end, because you might not like what you see. No. As Joe said, we have a project coming this summer. And we like to think of it in a positive manner and look at how it's going to change our community for the better. So, we're all familiar with what it looks like and what it feels like to drive down M24 now. This is one of the pictures that we used to secure our federal funding for this project, so the village doesn't have to bond for this issue. And you can see that this is patch upon patch upon patch. And finally, MDOT decided, you know, we're going to rebuild 24. And we came to the table and said, we'd like to rebuild our streetscape downtown and fix all of the problems along M24 in the village. And so they said, okay, fine, we'll let you tag on. And so we have a $2.1 million streetscape project as part of the overall $29 million project that is 4.1 miles of M24 from Lake Orion to just north of the village limits. And so, as you can see, what was once really good bones of our downtown is pretty dilapidated. So we're moving forward on this. The project is going to be, the bids will be let tomorrow. We're looking at 3 possible contractors for tomorrow, and so these are all companies that have a lot of experience in doing projects of this scope and scale. We expect to find out exactly what is going to be scheduled and where they're going to start sometime in the middle of next week. And as soon as we find out, we will let the community know so that they can plan accordingly. As far as a start time, the project is scheduled to begin on April 15th, pending frost laws. Because as soon as they can get out, after everything is scheduled out, they could start as early as April 1st, and we're informed at this time. As Joe mentioned earlier, there is a public meeting scheduled tentatively for the 25th for MDOT and the contractor to present their schedule and where they're going to phase this work. We have initial phasing diagrams as a result of the bid documents to tell us they're going to start in the community of Oxford with the Drainer Road project. They're going to repair that intersection, close off some of the access points, and make that road geometry on that intersection perform better. So it will be a safer intersection. Right now, that's one of our biggest accident points on the corridor. So they're going to work very diligently. The designs show a smoother turning and a more high-performing intersection. So they're going to fix that first. Then they'll proceed. Once they've fixed the east side, then they will close M24 northbound through the village and the township so that they can begin work on the back corridor. As Joe mentioned, utility work will be starting up again shortly. AT&T projects to be done within the next 3 weeks. March 2nd, Consumers Energy is coming back to town for working on the northern phase. Again, that'll be temporary lane closures. They're not actually working in the right-of-way, so there'll be daily lane closures. And in the evening, they'll pull that and they'll open that lane up northbound as well. So just like we went through from November through the middle of January, there's going to be intermittent lane closures northbound. Now this doesn't show very well because gray on gray doesn't work well in light, but the detour route, the main detour route, there are going to be several phased detours where you're going to have, in order to turn left or turn right, you're going to have to move through the village on alternate routes. But the main detour route for the length of the project is going to be on Glassby Road. You will turn right at Drainer and then work your way up through Glassby northbound. Now, the intent at this point is to maintain Glassby as a 3-lane road. So there will be a left turn lane there. There is enough right-of-way there on a good portion of northbound Glassby in order to maintain traffic flow. So they're going to restripe that probably sometime late March, early April. This is what we've been told so far, because they don't want a left turn to slow down that traffic on Glassby as it goes through the industrial area. Now, along this corridor, once the project gets started, we'll be installing our own directional signage on behalf of the businesses in downtown Oxford. So there'll be signs directing traffic for those who aren't familiar where it is. They're going to be looking at business signage detours on Broadway, on Burdick, and on East, and it will direct traffic who aren't familiar. Most of you, I assume, know the back roads at Oxford. So you'll see these bright multicolored signs go up that says, for these businesses, turn here. And so that's another initiative that we're undertaking at the village in order to maintain traffic flow into and out of the village. Now this is where I really wish I had the Jones team. It's coming. We know this. And this is kind of what downtown might look like this summer. Now, that may look foreboding. That may look like a difficult obstacle to overcome. But how many of you parked on M24 now during the day or in the evening? And most of the parking in downtown Oxford is to the rear of the buildings. You all know this. You're all locals. So as this project goes forward, we're asking you to do one thing. We're asking you to do the same thing you've done every other year in Oxford, which is come downtown and shop in Oxford. For most of us, it's not going to change our practices. You're going to have an extra small delay to come in and into downtown Oxford. Burdick Street will be open for 95% of the project. The only time Burdick Street's going to be closed is when they're actually installing the infrastructure underneath that intersection. And one of the regulations and provisions in this contract is they can't close consecutive cross streets on M24. So if Crawford is closed for work, Lincoln is open. If Burdick is closed, Broadway and East will be open. So you'll be able to cross M24, it just might be a block different even when a major street is closed. So, when we talk about this, we want to focus on some shared goals. We want to make sure, our primary goal is to make sure that this project is done in a quick and efficient manner and results in a quality project. When we started designing this streetscape, we started with some very specific goals in mind. And our intent was to create a quality downtown. Now, we didn't get everything that we wanted because we didn't want to go into debt on this project. We worked within our budget, and we started planning this budget 4 years ago. And so we come into this project in very good financial shape. The other thing is this project is designed to minimize disruptions to the businesses. Yes, we know that the street is going to be gone, but MDOT is maintaining pedestrian access to the fronts of all businesses and maintaining access to our parking areas in downtown. And again, we're only asking you to do one thing, and it's the same thing you've done for the last 5 years, and that's shop downtown. If we continue to do that, our businesses will be fine. We'll come out on the far end of the project, and it'll be great. It's going to be a transformative project. I'm going to show you some renderings of what it's going to look like when we get to the end of this project. Now, the DDA has also invested heavily in business promotions and events downtown to bring people into the community who may not always be in the community every day. And so here's our calendar of events. We're basically doing 1 or 2 events every month this year to get people used to the fact that, hey, it's business as usual. We just have a giant sand pit in front of our businesses to play in on the weekends. We're doing one business promotion with the Business of the Week because we feel there is no place like Oxford. And so we're going to send Dorothy around town every week, and she's going to visit businesses. And when you go in and visit Dorothy in no place like Oxford, you'll have an opportunity to win a $20 gift card each week. And so we're going to have 1 or 2 Dorothys floating around town to promote our local businesses. If you're interested in having Dorothy visit your business, just let us know and we'll get you on the schedule. The other thing we're doing is Shop Oxford. Our intent is to reward people for doing just what you've always done, which is shop downtown. Each month we're going to be giving away a $250 gift card, and at the end of the year we're going to take all of our raffle entries and we're going to award a $1,000 gift card to one lucky winner who shops in downtown Oxford. So these are 2 of the things that we're doing to promote the people to get downtown and reward you for what you're doing every day right now. So, why are we doing this whole project? Well, again, MDOT was going to come in and MDOT was going to take up the road. And as Joe and Joe said, we wanted to improve the downtown feel. What were our specific goals going into this? We were worried about pedestrian safety. Right now, it's kind of rough downtown. As you walk down the sidewalks in front of the businesses, there's a lot of dust, a lot of debris thrown up by the trucks. It's loud. You know, the only pedestrian crossing in downtown right now is at Burdick Street. So to go from 5-1 Diner to the theater, you have to take the equivalent of a 10-minute detour in your car just to walk from point A to point B. We're putting 3 additional crossings into downtown, pedestrian crossings. Noise abatement, it's loud downtown. We all know this. We did an analysis back in 2012, and the downtown sound environment exceeds what you would have standing next to a highway. It's excessive noise and occasionally reaches nearly 100 decibels in downtown when an empty gravel trailer goes by. Another thing that we're trying to do is slow this traffic down. It is a downtown environment. There are people on the streets, and we're trying to slow this traffic down. We've put in some traffic calming measures that will slow the traffic down to about 25, 30 miles an hour. We're using a design speed of 28 miles an hour for this project, so that the traffic flow will continue at a high capacity, but it will be at a slower speed than it currently is. The other thing we're doing is we're trying to put in some amenities that make it feel more like a place where you want to linger, where you want to hang out, and where you want to spend money. So we're putting in a lot of additional amenities into our downtown. So let's take a look at what it's going to look like when it's done. Oops. That's $18.99 Oxford. My apologies. Yes, we always insert a joke. Here's an example of what the streetscape is going to look like in front of Modern Marketplace. You can see we've got some tables and chairs amenities here so that you can have an actual chance to sit down and linger and take a break while you're shopping. You can see that the flower pots there, and these are going to be installed in bunches in downtown. And the idea behind this is they're placed towards the curb to reduce tire noise, to reduce the debris that might be flung up. And these are going to be filled with perennials. Now, everything we're putting in downtown that's not bolted down like a lamp fixture here, we're going to put street lights from village end to village end. But these tables and chairs, the flower pots, these are all mobile. These are not fixed in place. So that if it's not working where it's at originally, we can move it around until we find where it functions effectively. And so the whole downtown amenities are flexible and designed to be put where they do the best work. You can see we're putting in lampposts. We're going to install some hanging baskets in downtown. Again, it adds a vertical element, adds a sense of enclosure on the sidewalk, and it's designed to put more vegetation into downtown to absorb some of that noise. So we're trying to buffer that noise. We're trying to absorb that noise so that it's not a sound canyon. Here's one of the pedestrian crossings we're putting in. These are designed to give a pedestrian refuge in the middle of the street so that you only have to cross 2 lanes at a time. And we'll have 3 of these in the downtown. This is the one that's going to be put in place between the Ox and Lori's Pet Paradise so that you can cross the downtown. So regardless of which side you park on in downtown, it's easy to get across the street, unlike it is now. Now, these lane delineators in the middle are designed to slow traffic as well as protect pedestrians just by a visual warning. It does function as a vertical element to narrow the lane so that vehicles naturally will slow down there because they're perceived as a constrained environment. Those delineators are flexible. If somebody does happen to hit one, it's just going to go down and come back up. And it might clean off the bottom of your car. Here's a little bit more of an oblique view looking at downtown. You can see how this all comes together. We're creating an alley of trees and lampposts with vertical elements. There'll be banners on the ones that don't have hanging baskets so that it's designed to visually constrain the travel lanes. And by doing that, traffic is slowed down again. We're using a whole bunch of small little factors to slow the speed down through the downtown. And so you can see how the whole streetscape is going to be lined on both sides. We're putting in bicycle parking, we're putting in benches, we're putting in flower beds around the trees. And one interesting thing about the trees that we're doing, as you know, most of the trees in downtown aren't doing very well. It's because they're in a compacted soil without enough airflow through the tree roots. Underneath the sidewalk where the trees are going to be large structurally engineered soil containers. Effectively a 10-foot by 15-foot engineered soil that's designed for trees to perform well in that environment so that the trees will actually thrive for a change in that urban environment. And so that's one change you're going to see is the trees that we put in will actually grow this time. Here's at the north end of town. This is looking south from the access to the northwest quadrant. Again, treescape, furniture, planting beds, and then the additional crossing at the north end. Here's an elevated view of that. You can see the crossing in more of a scale of where it's going to look like coming into town. This is kind of going to be the northern gateway into our downtown and designed to slow that traffic as it comes in from the north. And so this will help create a sense of arrival in the district. Jumping back and forth, we can see we're going to have trees with a surrounded tree grate there, and there'll be bench seating there next to the trees, so people will have shade to sit in if they're in the downtown environment, because we know in August it can get warm in Michigan. And then so here again is that northern gateway. We recruited some folks for some promotional materials to cross the street for us. Closing comments, again, it's going to start around April 15th, plus or minus 2 weeks. Sometime in August, they're going to flip the sides of the road. They're going to close the eastern half to begin with, and then once they're going to close the eastern half, once that's completed, that's where most of the infrastructure is under the street. Then in mid-August, they're probably going to flip over sometime in the middle of that month and begin work on the western side of the M24. At that point in time, it still will be southbound traffic. It will just be on the other side of the road, heading south. We're expected to finish this project up. The contractual deadline is November 15th. It's a 7-month project. If it does not get completed because of weather change issues or something of that nature in the summertime, if we have a wet July or something like that, there are contingency plans for that to complete all of the hardscape and then come back in the spring and install the vegetation. But the road will be open and fully functional by the end of this year. So that's the good news. And again, if you have any questions about this, feel free to contact us at the village. We have our website as been previously mentioned, and there are 3 of us at the village that are perfectly capable of talking about this project in length. And if you have any other questions, you can always email us and we'll get back to you relatively quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. If you want to take a closer look at what the town is going to look like when it's finished, there are boards over here, and you can get a better look at everything that Glenn was talking about. Now, I want to move on to township business and invite my friend Jack Curtis up to share with us everything that's going on. He's an Oxford Township trustee. I'm sure you all recognize Jack Curtis.
Thank you, Amy. I got a call last night from our friends in the south down in Orion. Chris Barnett calls me. He says, "Hey, Jack, we just won one of the 3 cities with the greatest trails on it." And I said, "Well, Chris, that's kind of nice." I said, "But they all lead to where?" He said, "Oxford." And, I took all my Chris Barnett jokes out of my speech today because he says, "I'm not going to be there." I said, "Well, that's great, Chris." I said, "I'll take them all out." So I took it off my flash drive and wrote them down, and what happens? Chris comes, he leaves early. So first thing I like to do is, I am Jack Curtis. I'm a township trustee. I work on a lot of committees. I'd like to thank all of our township board, our members, planning commission. Most of them are here today. Supervisor Dunn, I see Eddie Hunwick over here, Deanna from our building department, the township clerk, Joe Ferrari, the treasurer. We've got Parks and Rec represented, Sam Barna back from the schools. They've all given me things to talk about. This is not things that I do. This is things they do. They wanted me to communicate. First off, I want to start by addressing one of our best tools in society today, but yet one of our biggest poisons. And I say that, and that is social media. Oxford Township was being plagued with misinformation on our social media sites, Facebook and Twitter. In conjunction with that, we were also missing out on a lot of grants. They don't sound like they go together, but Oxford Township and its board, to resolve this issue, hired a new communications and grants manager in 2019 in November. That grants manager to address these deficiencies is CJ Carnacchio. CJ has come onto our township board. He's raised our awareness on our Facebook site with solid information, truthful information, and he has increased our experiences by 140%. And what that means is there's 1,600 people following and liking our pages who are now receiving information that's approved by the township, is actual, factual, and real time. So to that, I want to thank him and the board for appointing him. But also, most important, most importantly, CJ, since he's been there, $15,000 in grants and contributions since November 19th. And with right now, he has application in for over $342,000 in grants pending. So monumental effort on his part for the first couple months in business. I want to get to the other big elephant in the room right now, and it's on everybody's mind every day. Is Beaumont still coming to Oxford? And I want to tell you, yes, they are. The Township Planning Commission, the Township Planning Commission and the Township Board have been in talks with Beaumont every day for the past probably 6 to 7 months. The Township Board just recently approved part of their planned unit development. What that is we take an area of property, we go into a contract with the developer to offer things that are not in our ordinance or to change and bend our ordinance without having to break an ordinance. So, as a matter of fact, February 27th, Beaumont is coming into our Planning Commission meeting, and they're working on a few more details with this PUD. So it's ongoing talk. They are coming. And while Beaumont continues to appeal the certificate of need through the state, a phased build is being proposed. And I want to tell you, phase 1 is a 100,000 square foot ambulatory care unit. If and when the CON, the certificate of need, is granted, Beaumont would then begin phase 2 of the proposed 117-bed hospital. We just talked about Restore M24, the M24 road construction project through the township. A portion of that, we are including an 18-inch sewer line from Oakdale Street to just the southern end of the Beaumont property. Once Beaumont starts building, that sewer line, 18-inch, will go to the northern end of their property. And that's approximately 8,000 feet of new 18-inch sewer line. What that means is we have a stopgap for the village should something happen in their sewer. We also have capacities that will prevent us from having large maintenance items in the future. The safety paths are currently planned for both sides of M24, and that'll afford travel along that busy highway of M24, so both sides of M24 being safety path. In conjunction with that, we're installing a water main on the west side of M24 from Drainer Road to Minnetonka, and that's going to complete a much-needed loop. While I'm on the subject of water mains, Oxford Township continues to improve on the integrity of our water system. Since 2017, and with this proposed project in 2020, we will have installed 13,750 feet of water main. We have improved our Mickelson Shores water pump station, which now ensures us to have demands, the water demands during the peak water usage periods. I got to tell you that these projects total over $3,500,000 and will be completed using funds generated through water tap fees with no fees, additional bonds, or expense to water customers. Development and proposed, yes, very good. And we have to thank the boards of the past. Since 2005, when our water was deemed we needed a water system, the board elected to complete portions of our water system. Oxford owns its own water system. We have emergency shutoffs with Detroit Water System in Orion, but we also have emergency shutoffs through the village in strategic locations. But in 2005, rather than burden the few customers that were on the water, the board made a decision to build this water project only for what was needed. Now, while we've developed and captured water tap and sewer tap funds, we are now being able to afford to do these projects at no additional cost or no bonding to the customers. That also means projects that the Detroit Water and Sewer, the Great Lakes Water Authority, bill us for. All our sewage goes to them. They improve their system, and we're constantly asked to foot the bill on some of those projects. Anyway, we'll get through the water. In 2019, we saw a decline in home starts. We had 49 new home starts. That is down from 2018. But you have to realize Oxford has a limited area of water and sewered lots. Those are the preferred lots that developers like, rather than having to put in septics and wells. They want to attach to a municipal water and sewer supply. So ours is down a little bit. Woods of Tullamore, a 50-unit development on Drainer Road, is currently under construction. And along with that project, I know the Township Board and Supervisor Dunn worked with the Oakland County Road Commission of Oakland County, and our local gravel companies. We ascertained gravel, and we've made many improvements to East Drainer Road. There are two developments currently being discussed at the Planning Commission. That is the Manors of Westlake over on Dunlap and Bay Point, and the Enclaves of Woodbridge. And that's approximately 150 new residential builds in our township. On the commercial industrial side, Oxford Township has granted final site plan for PK Contracting. That's a Michigan-based company headquartered in Troy, who recently broke ground on Excelsior Drive. They'll be bringing approximately 50 employees to our township, to that Oxford site, and they will work out of there daily. They work around the state, striping our roads through construction projects and maintenance of the current striping. By the way, PK is hiring, and they are looking for 45 workers today. These are high-paying jobs, $20 to $40 an hour, and there are a lot of benefits. Culver's Restaurant, they are at final site plan approval. It's ready to go. Andrew from Culver's stated that he is waiting till late fall to start his restaurant because he doesn't want to start it in the middle of all this construction and miss out on the traffic. Culver's is going to be located just south of the Tractor Supply on the west side of M24, right across from the proposed hospital. You know, in future growth in Oxford Township, we have a lot of land. Thousands of acres. However, to do it correctly, we have some currently planned developments that are, they're in the works. They're talking about it. They're looking at it. They're platted. One of them is Sandman Gravel Pit. That's a 100-acre piece on Drainer Road, West Drainer Road, down by Clear Lake Sub. We have 160 acres that's currently for sale at the Crossroads for Youth property, 160 acres. Across from the Dunlap Township Board offices, there are 300-plus acres that will all be watered and sewered. It's the reclaimed gravel pit that's owned by the Levy Corporation. You know, in keeping us all safe, I know Lieutenant Patterson and Sergeant Frank Lenz aren't here today, and the deputies of the Oakland County Sheriff Department. Oxford Sheriff Substation has unofficially a 70.36% clearance rate. If you remember last year, it was about 65%. This is on track to be the highest clearance rate for active incidences in the communities serviced by the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. You know, this is approximately a 5% increase over last year, but what they do is they do fine police work, and in conjunction with that, our township board, being as fiscally responsible as we are, and looking at the increase in tax revenue through assessed values, we have added a new detective this year to handle the caseload. So now we have 2 detectives, and we've added a second shift deputy, now bringing that up to minimum manning standards of 3 deputies on the second shift. So approximately 20 deputies in our community, all working out of our substation located below the township offices. The Oxford Fire Department, I know Pete's here. Thanks, Pete, for your exemplary service. Chief Pete's worked on this MDOT project for the past 4 years. He's worked to ensure the safety and the efficiency of all detours for our ambulances and fire equipment through M24 construction. He's worked with the village and the township together to open roads that are blocked for some reason or another that just don't want to be open. But even Chief Mike stood up and said, we've got to get our ambulances through. Chief Pete worked on it. Now we have many new safe emergency routes for our ambulances. Oxford Fire Department handled 2,170 calls. That's up almost 60 calls over last year. The department has hired 2 additional firefighters in 2019 to handle this additional workload and growth. But I got great news. They're looking to add 4 more firefighters this year. So good work to the chief. Thank you. I did forget to mention that you did receive a grant for replacement of your exhaust systems in the fire stations, and I believe that was somewhere upwards of $150,000, so great work. Oxford Library, Brian Coltier can't be here today. He is very proud of his accomplishments, just as we all should be. In the last 10 years, he's had over 1,600,000, he even gave me the exact number, 641,149 visitors. And those visitors checked out over 2,500,000 items. I mean, I use Google Library, and I've been going to his library just lately, and it's amazing. The library offered 6,288 programs where 212,000 residents from our community have attended. Studies have shown that more people visited the library in the United States than went to a movie theater. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. That's not true. I looked it up. It's there. Now, the Oxford Library has engaged the services of Daniels and Zermatt Architects to conduct a study on expanding the library, and this will be placed on the August primary ballot for residents' consideration. Parks and Rec, Ron Davis, wow. He continues to complete the bond projects ahead of time. He completed improvements and renovations to our total park system, and Ron Davis was recently awarded the M Parks Fellowships Award for his outstanding contributions to the park systems in Michigan. Congratulations, Ron. You know, through continued support of the Economic Development Committee, part of the joke I had with Chris Barnett was, we have a developer in the room today who has a development going in, and its shared building is part in Orion Township and part in Oxford Township. Go ahead, try that one out, folks, I dare you. We worked out interlocal agreements for water usage, police services, fire services, building inspections, building permits, land balancing. Everything was worked out between the two communities. Because of our relationship with Orion Township, I think we did this in record time. Anybody has any questions, David Fulkerson is here from the Grace Premier Center. Our township works with all of our adjoining townships to ensure that everybody that comes here works good, works hard, one-stop ready. We try to do it. Our Economic Development Committee has updated, and we believe that we have Why Invest in Oxford PowerPoint ready for anybody that might want to come to our community and see what we have to offer as far as land, which is going real fast. It's all under contract. Something about a hospital. And it's really a good program to show new and exciting people that want to come here. I see Sam in the back of the room. You know, the school board administrative side. Tim's down in Florida getting sunshine. Thanks, Tim. Oxford Township continues providing input and support for their career technical education meetings. We have open dialogue on matters contributing to the betterment of the curriculum. Our grounds and future investment, we talk to them daily. With the M24 construction, a need has been identified for ingress and egress of the school buses. We're currently working on an innovative resolution with details to follow as the plan is implemented. We're having another meeting, I believe, next Thursday, and once we get it engaged and we put it in place, it'll be a good bragging point for the school. As we all know, a great school system as ours is an investment in the community's proper growth. The township continues to work with the village and the village of Oxford. I know Joe Frost, Joe Medor, they're nothing more than a phone call away. Glenn Pape, Nicole, she's been great. I work on I'm a liaison to the Village Planning Commission. We do many other administrative duties through the Treasury Department, but a lot of this has contributed to the cooperative mindset amongst these entities. They are an island in a township. They are a government. We work with them. They don't work for us. We don't work for them. We work together. I want to thank all of you for your time today, and as always, all of us in the township that are here or at the township are always available to discuss anything about Oxford Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Now, I just wanted to give a thank you to the new Chamber of Commerce Board for 2020. Walt Bargan is on our board. He's back there. I have Elena Sullivan, Debbie Wren, Terry Stiles, Jeff Rowe, and Chief Mike Sowell, who does so much for our community, and we are so grateful that you're on our board. Thank you so much. Now I would like to welcome Joe Ferrari, Treasurer, Oxford Township.
Good morning, everyone. Before I start, I'd like to give everybody a round of applause to Supervisor Bill Dunn, who's be retiring at the end of this year for his many years of service to Oxford Township. Really done a great job for us, and I really appreciate it. I just want to briefly discuss the state of the township's financial records. Year in and year out, Oxford Township has received impeccable audit reports with no reportable conditions to the state. We paid off our library bonds and our fire department bonds, so those buildings are now completely paid for. Our investment income continues to rise yearly. In 2019 alone, we earned over $335,000 in interest income. We also, too, abide by the SLY method of investing: safety first, liquidity, then yield. Also, too, in other communities are trying to figure out how to handle legacy costs. Oxford Township stepped up to the plate, contributed $500,000 to help offset its MERS retirement fund for the fire department. I'd like to thank the board for that. Overall, Oxford Township is in great shape fiscally. We handle the financial records for the fire department, Parks and Rec, cable TV, Poly and Trailways, and we handle the back end of the tax collections for the village of Oxford. If you would have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them, but be rest assured that your township is in great shape and in great hands financially. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joe. All right. Now we're going to move on to our leadership awards that are definitely, okay, all right. As many of you know, OCTV is Oxford local professional media station. Today, Bill Service is the station manager, and Terry Stiles is the production manager. Bill has over 50 years in television and production management, while Terry Stiles has over 14 years at OCTV and 18 years experience in public broadcasting. Both of these wonderful people have worked very hard along with their team to bring this wonderful contribution into your homes, which helps promote all of our local businesses and schools and all of the happenings around town. They are at pretty much any function I've ever asked them to attend. Once it goes on to the local channel, then it goes on to YouTube, and they are a great contribution to our community to get any of the businesses' messages out, the schools, any of the local happenings, and they are always, always more than willing to attend. They're here today even filming this for us. I would like to now bring you up Bill and Terry Stiles. Careful on here. And we would like to give you an award to say thank you so much for everything that you do for our community. And now if you could both give us a little bit about everything that you do with OCTV. Just hold that open.
Yeah.
Be careful on
Hi,
this.
everybody. Thanks. We were so much. Just want to say, we started this station probably 30 years ago. We had probably 2 viewers. And then the Cable Commission gave us about $100,000 for equipment, which we need to have. So about 7 years ago, we started that. We used to videotape basketball games with 1 camera, no sound, and let it go. Now we go to a basketball game. We have 7 people to do that game. And when you go to your chamber Christmas parade, guess how many viewers we have now? 6,000 people to watch the viewers. That's pretty darn good for a station. I started the station about 7 years ago, and at that time, I brought my production manager at that time. At that day to here, we get viewers for up to 12,000 viewers every month, and we enjoy that too. I'm gonna let Terry talk. She's a reporter. She knows to do these things. You go, girl.
So I did bring some notes, but a little bit about me. I've been in the community since 1981, so it's really nice to see all these familiar faces, and I'm humbled to be among you. We have been active at the station thanks to a board that was willing to work with us. We saved enough money, and thank you, Joe Ferrari, to be able to build a new studio, which we've been in for a year. We are doing more and more for the community because of that. We have professional amenities now. Let me go to my notes. We have sent on, in our time here, 5 interns that ended up in major market stations. We're really proud of that. We're not CNN and we're not MSNBC, but we are in your community, and we're not amateurs. We all have a degree of some sort in broadcasting. There's 9 of us that work there, and we are willing to do anything that the community needs of us. We are paid for by the community. You are all paying for us to be here. So we're here to be at your service. Example, Leonard just put in a video for the hometown makeover. We were proud to be a part of that. And within a matter of hours, they had 5,000 views on that video on YouTube and Facebook. So we're proud that we were able to help them. So everybody keep your fingers crossed for Leonard. They'd love to have a hometown makeover. We also do things like for new businesses, to get the word out for the businesses. We'll go feature your business anytime you want us there. Just recently, we did something for Freedom Kitchen. Lisa is trying very hard to get the word out of nutrition, and she's starting with children's classes. We were able to film one of those and get that on the air. So we're getting the word out to the community that there's healthy nutrition classes for kids. So we can do anything like that. If you want advertising done, you can hire us to put it together for you, and then you can use it on any major market station. You can put it on YouTube, Facebook. We are here to serve you, and we're happy to do so.
Thank you very much. And also, if you're a chamber member and you're partnering with us, we will set you up with OCTV and you get a discount with doing promo for your business. I want to thank everyone so much for coming out today, and thank Chef again for the wonderful breakfast. And we will have some time after for you to meet with the local officials and ask your questions. Thank you again, everyone, for coming out today.